tearing out pieces of me to replace the broken pieces of you. Tearing out.
Hello, Healthy Family, and welcome to today's Mindset Monday video. It is also the beginning of our 12 Universal Laws series, and today we are talking about the law of divine oneness. I really appreciate this law because before I even knew it was a law, I was realizing certain things. And in layman terms, what this means is that everything is connected, whether you know it or not, whether you can see it or not see it, everything is connected. Everything plays a part in everything, okay? Everything that you do or don't do always has an effect on certain things. Whether you cut down a tree, you are disrupting the ecosystem. If you're planting a tree, you're enhancing the ecosystem. If you stomp an ant pile, if you recycle or throw away trash or compost, it all has an effect on something. If you tell someone that you love them or you tell someone that you hate them, it all is connected. And I came to realize this because early on, my mom used to teach me how to cook when I was really young. And by teach, she meant watch, right? She was like, you better watch what I'm doing. And if you got questions, ask. I'm not sitting here saying, okay, here's this, here's that. You better watch me, okay? Because that's how I learned. And I said, okay, Mom, I'm with it. And sometimes I would ask her, well, why do you do this? And she's like, that's just how I was taught. That's how my mom taught me. And that's probably how her mom taught her. And I just started realizing a lot of times things are just passed down. Especially with oral traditions, right? It's just, hey, this is that, this is how it's done, this is what I was told, this is how we're gonna go, and it's been working for us so far, or maybe it hasn't been working, but hey, we don't know any better, so we're gonna keep pushing, right? A lot of times there will be trauma passed down as well, right? Sometimes we do things and we're like, man, like punishment, right? Corporal punishment. I was beat. Okay, I got beat with belts, with extension cords, with hangers. Not as much as my older siblings because I was young and cute and very festive, and I would do everything I could to not get beat. All right, and I realized it was just the way that the punishment was dealt down in the family. But it started in our my well, both of my parents, my mother and my father are both Jamaican, but my mother, is that's who I grew up with, her lineage in Jamaica, we have a trace back to some slaves, to some ancestors that were in the slave trade. Not to say that they were slaves themselves, but they had a hand in the slave trade, and they saw some of the ways that the punishment was dolted out. So I feel like that's where it was stemming from. I know I had great ancestors who had their children taken away from them. And I always had this innate fear when I started having my children. I always had this innate fear of them being taken away, them dying early, me not being able to be, the best parent I could be, me not having the right steps. And then as I grew older and I started realizing my lineage, I realized that there were some ancestors that had that. Like her children was taken away, and she didn't even, get to raise them. She couldn't even see them up until, past the age of 1. Like they stayed with her while they were young, and then by the time they turned 1, like they were gone, right? They just let them stay and nurse, in the city, and that was it. So that epigenetic, that gene, that fear was passed down from generation to generation to generation until I came to the cognitive realization that, hey, this is affecting all of us, right? For me, in my household, when I was working a job and I didn't like it and I was miserable, I would come home and that energy would just eke off of me. And now my husband's miserable and now my children are miserable because mommy's not happy, right? So, the saying, happy life, happy wife, happy life, right? It's not just because you want to make the wife happy, it's because the energy reverberates, all right? So, in order for you to have a less disruptive lifestyle, right? Realizing that everything you do affects one another will help make you more conscious of the things that you do. When you help someone homeless on the street, regardless of how they got there, I'm not saying you have to give them money, but if you give them a bottle of water, or you give them a little hygiene kit where they can brush their teeth and comb their hair and feel a little bit better, you are raising the vibration of that individual and making it feel less dense. I've traveled many, many places, and there are certain cities where the citizens are just boggled down with, they don't have the sun as much. They have low wages. They don't have beautiful homes. Uh, the school system is trash. The city is riddled with trash, and you can just feel the energy just being pulled down, being oppressive, being suppressive, and it's just like, man. And then I've been in other cities where they may not be the Joneses, right? They may not be uh, Beverly Hills, California, right? But they still have a upbeat livelihood where they're okay with their minimum wage job. They're not being oppressed. Their home may not be the greatest, but it's still upkept, right? They're very festive for the seasons or for the holidays. Their children are getting a good education. The school system is very active in the lives, and they have different productions and things going on, so the children are okay, and it just reverberates different. The feeling, the frequency is 100% different. And the only thing is the people, right? It's what the people will put up with, what they won't put up with, what they decide to interact with, what they decide not to interact with, what they allow to happen, what they don't want to happen, what they've accepted and what they've rejected. All right, they're all interconnected. They see someone needs help, right? They literally can go knock and say, hey, I need help, I need some sugar, can I have this? Yeah, here you go. Hey, you need a loaf of bread, here you go, here's some sandwich meat to go in between it, right? They're all connected, it's all together, and it helps raise the vibration. So utilizing this divine law of oneness, when you move in an attitude of gratitude, when you move consciously knowing that the things that you're doing affects more than just yourself, you're not in a self-centered um, energy. When you realize that the information you share or you don't share, the people you talk to and you don't talk to, it has an effect on everyone, on the stabilization of the moods. When you realize that, you're activating that law within you. And when you activate it within you, you can use it to your purpose. It puts your mind also at ease. It's your mental faculties that you have to start to utilize to say, okay, you know what? This is how we're going to move. This is how we're not going to move. Okay? I made up my mind that I'm going to be a better person, not just for me, but for everyone. Okay? You can help heal some of the traumas. Like I said, for myself, you can help heal some of those traumas that you go through your ancestors have gone through, that's not been passed on to you, by realizing, hey, this is how I'm feeling. It's not necessarily natural to me, because there is no reason for me to have an innate fear that my children would be taken away. I mean, aside from society, right? They nail that in. If you're a bad parent, just call 911, baby. Your mama do something you don't like, your daddy do something you don't like, call 911 and we'll come rescue you. And then they put them in a shit system, all right? But there was no real reason for me to feel that my children would be taken away, or that they would die early or anything like that, right? I had to reprogram my mindset, my mentality. I had to let go of the indoctrination of religion and of society, and realize that I was a good mother and my children were safe. I had to recite that mantra all the time until I could get over the feelings that I had. And then I started to see an overall greater being with my children, because I was no longer projecting my fear onto them, right? They could feel that fear. So now they would behave differently because they want to make sure that mommy's not fearful, right? They would pick up on that. It's the same in everyday life. If you see someone that is hurting, it's nothing. If you don't have anything that you could physically give them, it's nothing to smile, okay? Even if they're batshit crazy, okay, I see you're batshit crazy, but I'm going to smile until you have a good day. And they'll leave you alone, and they'll keep it pushing, okay? Because where they are on the cycle of things is not vibrating with the same place where you are, okay? And therefore, it's not going to become like a confusion. It's not going to be muddled, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? And therefore, it's not going to be like a confusion. It's not going to be muddled, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, and you're allowing yours to flow, okay? You are allowing their cycle, Okay, their divinity to stay where it is on the spectrum in which they are on, but it does nothing to you to be kind to them. It allows you to still operate at a higher frequency so that you can continue to raise the frequency and allow this beautiful planet and space in which we are living and learning to be a better place. Okay? So, in order to activate and use this, realize everything you do matters. You matter. You matter. You being alive and walking, watching this video, breathing, living, it matters. And the things that you say and you don't say matter. And don't let anyone ever take that away from you. They just haven't recognized their divinity in themselves. They don't realize that without the trees, we would not be able to survive. Without the sun, we wouldn't be able to survive. Without the rain, we wouldn't be able to survive. And the things that we do to help make sure that these things manifest continuously by not cutting down the rainforest, by holding sit-ins and stage-ins, saying no, enough is enough, by making sure we don't put things up to pollute the air to block out the sun, to help make sure that our oceans stay clean so that the cycle can continue to go so we can receive the rain. It all matters. It's all connected. Okay? So I appreciate you all. Look out for tomorrow's video in our Universal Law series. And until we connect again, stay alert, stay aware, and live in love. Peace.